Namaskar, this is Later Edition. Tonight we'll discuss the legacy of Hugo Chavez, the charismatic late Venezuelan leader. Now, Chavez's death after a near 2-year struggle with cancer was a blow to his supporters and also to the alliance of left-wing Latin American powers, and has plunged his resource-rich country into uncertainty as an election is also going to be organized in a month's time. Now, relations between India and Venezuela also grew during the 14-year democratic rule of this popular socialist leader. Well, to discuss both Chavez's legacy and the future of the left wing in Latin America, we are joined in the studio Dr. Sriram Cholia, Professor and Dean at the Jindal School of International Affairs. Well, Dr. Cholia, you have written an article about him today, and you've said that Chavezmo will endure. Why are you so confident that Chavezmo is going to endure?
Well, it's because it represents a universal thrust for justice, and he implemented it on a small scale in his own society, and of course supported it in his neighborhood and in the wider Latin American region. But it will endure because it talks about some of those eternal values of the left. What I also argue is that Chavez is the antidote to the whole notion of the end of history based on the triumph of liberal democracy and capitalism, which was enunciated in the early 90s. 1998 onwards, the wave of the left in Latin America disproves this notion that capitalism is going to be the only game in town. So he disproved it in a concrete way in these 14 years while he was in power, and he actually made it concrete by spreading, redistributing wealth in society and creating all these opportunities for the masses, for the downtrodden. So in a way, he was trying to tell us that these ideas, they're as old as the hills, but you needed somebody like Chavez to be able to execute them in the time and in the place that he had in history as the leader of Venezuela.
Bringing Dr. Cholia here, one of the problems with this model is that it basically depended very heavily on the one big resource, which is oil. And he was also using it in terms of giving good cheap deals to Cuba, giving cheap deals to various other countries. But this can't go on forever, and the economy cannot be a one resource economy. So he's criticized from that point of view. It's a very short-term vision.
He did not diversify as much as it would have been ideal for the Venezuelan economy. But we must also remember that given the kind of ostracization he was facing from the West, and given the kind of attempts to corner and marginalize him, and also the attempts to destabilize and overthrow him, there was a coup attempt in 2002 that failed. Given the circumstances, and also we must remember that Venezuela's stock is supposed to be 500 billion barrels of or more. So it has sufficient to tide over, and it doesn't fall into the peak oil theory or anything of that sort. So it still has resources to go on this single leg for some time. But definitely the diversification is needed in the sense that it creates more opportunities for citizens in various other sectors. It doesn't have to mean embracing a capitalist model which is anathema to him and his successors. But certainly Nicolas Maduro, they will have to look at it. In fact, Raul Castro is doing it now since Fidel has left, to try and open up some of the sectors, because otherwise in the capitalist world system, it's hard to survive without also making some minor compromises while keeping your overall socialist system intact. Otherwise, you will be blown away.
Okay. Fair enough. So he definitely has an image that people can associate with. But Dr. Cholia, do you see in the future this kind of excessive spending continuing? Because as we said earlier, it was dependent heavily on oil, and perhaps he was getting in other imports which were necessary for the state, including for the healthcare, etc., as a result of the oil. But this can't go on forever, can it?
Yeah, but most states are now in the red when it comes to balancing their budgets. In fact, advanced economies are even higher. I mean, Japan has like 200% of its GDP is the ratio to public health. So I think to public debt. So I think it is sustainable. In fact, the model they're following is not to be worried about fiscal deficits, because the ones who are warning about it are the foreign investors.
Okay.
Because they are worried about a state going bankrupt and not being able to honor its debt commitments.
Sure.
But in this case, with a seemingly bottomless resource,
right,
and hopefully some more diversification to other sectors, I think they'll be able to tide over this and will not need the so-called fiscal conservatism medicine. And because they're not dependent on the IMF and the World Bank, and they rejected the Washington Consensus,
right,
they're not really at anyone's mercy to be, forced to cut down this. The
right,
only thing will be prudent macroeconomics at some level will need to operate, but not because of external pressure.
Right, but Dr. Cholia, ALBA itself, I mean, once that regional grouping gets stronger, would India look at an alliance with that, in similar like we have with BRICS or like we have with ASEAN or something like that?
We should be. In fact, I've been arguing that the BRICS, proposed BRICS Development Bank, which is supposed to be unveiled this year, should take a leaf from the Banco del Sur of which Chavez had established under the ALBA initiative, and to think about alternative world orders. Because that's the kind of big picture global leadership that Chavez had brought. And frankly, India is right now not doing that. So what we need to do is to think in terms of transforming the world order. That's that big picture thinking. Until we get that and start implementing it in our diplomacy across continents, and especially with Latin America. One thing I must mention, Chavez, Cuba, Venezuela, and Chile have been at the forefront of this new grouping, the CELAC, the Community for Latin American and Caribbean States. And India was one of the first countries with whom they had entered into dialogue. And I think gradually we are realizing that it makes sense for us not to place all our eggs in the American or the Western basket. And certainly with all the talk about non-alignment 2.0, I don't think we are so aligned with the West.
But are these economies socialist in orientation?
No, it doesn't have to be. In fact, Chavez was non-ideological, for example, on some issues. He had good relations with Colombia. He patched up, even though it was a right-wing pro-American regime in the later part of his stay, even with Peru. So there are instances where Chavez has actually shown a great deal of pragmatism in order to achieve bigger global objectives, and that's where India should figure in.
Finally, Dr. Cholia, I mean, the impression is that perhaps the US got rid of him. That's one of the impressions that people have about his strange illness, which nobody has talked about largely. Of course, it's cancer, and the one report says he died of a heart attack. But how would you look at this kind of conspiracy?
Well, one must be cautious about accepting these. But I think when Nicolas Maduro said this after Chavez died recently, that the Americans had a hand, I think he's talking about the toll that the entire Western-dominated order has had on this brave heart who stuck it out, who took a lot of risks, was a very gutsy politician. And you could say that, he gave his life for his people and for the region against the odds. So, when you do that, figuratively at least, you could say that he paid a price for it with his life. But one thing I would say is that, Obama certainly is not as conservative as the Bush administration was.
Sure.
And Chavez had reached out to Obama at the Summit of the Americas a few years ago. Chavez, amazing personality. He would read poetry. He would give books to world leaders. He would recite out of Chomsky and Galliano.
Sure.
And so he was an amazing personality, and that's what mattered in the end. When we look back at it, we didn't have a world leader of this stature in quite some time.
Right. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on Late Edition.